Good morning and happy Monday to you. My name is LaShonda Brown, and welcome to Bootstrap Biz Advice Live, where I teach service providers how to work less and live more by leveraging tech and YouTube. Now, today we are going to start the process of essentially auditing our lives. And I wanted to start with our morning routine because I believe that the foundation of being able to be productive throughout the week is determined by how you start your day. So I have been utilizing an app called Groove for literally years, and I just found out recently that Groove is going to be sunsetted, and so it really provided an opportunity for me to take a step back and to think practically about what tools am I using, what resources am I leveraging to get back on track and to reestablish a really healthy morning routine. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would encourage you to stick with me. If you are watching this live, make sure that you like this video to help it be seen by more people. We just recently hit a milestone on the channel, so every time we hit the milestones, I want to make sure that I express gratitude. So we just hit 33,000 subscribers on the channel. So thank you so much for not only liking my live streams, but also subscribing to the channel. Now, every month we have the opportunity to partner with different experts and brands. And so this month I will be partnering with Becca Harpain to teach you guys how to create custom GPTs for your business. Now, this masterclass and this workshop will be sponsored by High Level. And so if you are currently a member of my membership, whether you are a STAR student or a Bootstrap creator, you already have an invite to that event. So I just want to make sure that you know that is what we'll be going over this month. I actually taught or co-facilitated the first workshop of the year when we talked about having a soft start to the new year. She's currently doing the 75 Soft Challenge. And so this is another way that you can actually take a look at your morning routine and get some ideas from someone else. So if we actually go to Cassie's Instagram right now, the actual PDF version of this was made available to people on her email list. So if you are not on her email list, strongly encourage you to hop on, but you can see the challenge here. And so essentially she talks about every single day, moving with care, finding time to pause, doing some soul reading, prayer or intention, and she actually added in a daily digital break. And so I think that a lot of us are in a situation now where we find ourselves to be inundated with technology. I have another friend that I've talked about before, Hannah Brencher. She has the unplugging challenge. And so I think as we start to think about how we can modify our morning routine, I think that's a really good idea of something to incorporate is how can we not just fuel ourselves, but how can we unplug from screens in order to be more present in everyday life? So the daily digital break is something that she added in as part of this challenge. Now, if you continue to click through it, she has some bonus challenges, reflecting, outdoor time, decluttering, self-care and pampering. And she also has some great gentle reminders and a simple tracking system. So one of the things that I loved about how she had this outline, and this is something that I have tried out for myself, is as you start to modify your morning routine, you really need to track it, not just for a sense of, oh, well, how did I perform? But to get that data, because making data-driven decisions is really going to help you to create systems that are going to last. So as you start to think in your head, what would be an effective way for me to start my day mindfully, at peace, protecting my peace? You got to track your progress with that. Now, one thing that I did as I was trying to figure out a morning routine that would work for me is I just essentially used index cards in the very beginning to say, okay, for this week, this is what I want to try to do. I want to try to incorporate some movement. I want to try to journal. I want to, read certain things. And so as I worked through that morning routine, I just wrote it on an index card. And at the end of the week, I decided, how did that go? Are there things that I want to add? Are there things that I want to take away? But when we start thinking about auditing our life and our systems for our personal and business life, we've got to have some way to track our progress. Now, speaking of progress, if you are utilizing Enji at all, then you probably got an email from Taylor about KPI Day. KPI Day is the first of the month, and it's your opportunity for you to go into your social platforms, your CRM, whatever you're trying to track your progress in, and essentially notate to yourself, how are you doing working toward your goals? So, as you start to think about your morning routine, something else you may want to consider is having a system for tracking KPIs in your business. Even if you are a small business, understanding what your key performance indicators are will help you to decide what your to-do list looks like from a day-to-day basis. Sometimes, we create our to-do list based on what we feel like we should be doing and not based on what's actually moving the needle. So the first of the month is a great time to reflect on the previous month, but it's also a great time to update your data, to go through and say, okay, maybe my goal for the year was to grow my LinkedIn profile, or maybe it was to grow Instagram or grow my YouTube channel. Like, how am I doing toward that goal? And essentially having a system to be able to track it. Just like, Cassie was showing, tracking your progress in regards to that 75 soft challenge. So if we go back here, you can see how she has, Monday through Sunday, having Monday first, and having those different activities for you to track. Another thing to consider as you are trying to establish some positive habits is, can you base those new habits on an established framework that involves community with other people? Now, there is a community aspect of this, again, if you're on Cassie's list, but something else that a member is doing, and I emailed about this morning, was the 7-week study on Dr. Sandra's book, Being Fully Known. Now, this is more of a mindset book, helping you to let go of your negative self-talk, your limiting beliefs, and then basically move forward in a healthier direction, discovering what you naturally fit. So rather than forcing yourself to fit in, embracing the fullness of your identity apart from assumed roles, and helping to overcome mental barriers that can cause us to seek accomplishment over contentment. So, this is an opportunity for you to walk through the book, obviously helping yourself to grow personally, but also walk through it with the author and with the community, all walking in the same direction. So, part of the reason why I was so into Groove as a platform was this idea of shared accountability with other people, that I am moving forward in my life to accomplish my tasks with people who are trying to be productive. And so, as I start to dissect my morning routine and start thinking about what are some other tools that I can be leveraging if Groove doesn't exist, that gives me the opportunity to kind of see what's on the market and what am I looking for. Okay. So, leveraging tech is a fantastic way for you to save time, save money, and make money. And I think looking at technology not just as something that is a necessary evil to get your job done, or even something to unplug from, but something that can help you accomplish your goals, is a really positive thing. With both Cassie and Dr. Sandra's series and challenge that they're doing, they're leveraging technology, they're leveraging social media, they're leveraging their email list. They're leveraging Facebook groups and GroupMe and all sorts of things to help facilitate moving things forward. And so I think if we have the mindset that technology can be something that is a super helpful tool and not just something that I have to utilize, it can really change the way that we approach building our morning routines. Yes, this Monday is Monday. No problem at all. Thank you guys for letting me know. Trinity said, she said, I'm sad it's going away. I was finally starting to use it. I totally understand. Now, what's really positive about just having technology to help you to virtually co-work is there are some other options and some other ways to do it. So they definitely saw the need for having a virtual co-working tool, but there are some other communities that you can take advantage of to help with that. So I am sad that the Groove community will be, I think they said they're going to create a system for us to be able to interact in a different way. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Slack channel or what have you. Um, but yeah, there are some other tools to use, which is helpful. But I mean, at the same time, it is tough because it was super helpful. Okay, good. No worries at all. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I am glad we were able to sort that out. All right. So, what I will do then is I want to pull this up maybe in a different tab to see if that helps with the audio issues. So, I do want to talk about exercising. So, I'm in that particular video, which for right now, not going to screen share in the event that it decides to keep playing an echo of my sound. There are 3 different exercise YouTube channels that I've referenced in there. And so what I have found to be useful is either leveraging apps like even the Peloton app you can utilize. I did that when I was traveling recently, and that was really cool because I was able to use that even if I wasn't using a Peloton bike. I have also utilized different YouTube channels for routines, whether it be, doing arm workouts. I call them, there's some channels that allow you to do like dance fitness workouts, but doing them on the actual channel. So Grow with Joe is one. And 8 Fitness is another one that I like, and I call them twerkouts. And so if you're looking for something like fun and engaging, then you can utilize YouTube to be able to do those fitness workouts. Another thing to consider, and this is something that I did in my office, is I really enjoy just walking 2 miles in the morning. What was tough in the winter time is that I wasn't able to like get out to the track in the morning and actually do those 2 miles because it was just too cold, having to defrost the car and all of that. And so what I decided to do was I wanted to do 2 miles worth of exercise in the morning and not be so particular as to how I got there. And so I put a walking pad in my office that helps a lot with that. It's actually off camera this way. So I can do the walking pad. When I travel, I can go on the treadmill, or I can just do steps and equate that to moving my body. But I think one of the things that is tough is when we start to incorporate exercise into our morning routine, we tie it to a specific outcome and we say, well, I have to do, this Shaun T workout and I need to do, T25 for 5 weeks, and that's going to be my morning routine. And when you miss a couple days, it's hard to get back on track. So if that is an issue for you, maybe you can focus on either a specific amount of time. Most people say moving at least 30 minutes in the morning is super helpful, or you can focus on distance. I like distance because I like to walk, but again, that distance can equate to your steps as well. So exercise, I think, is a huge thing that I would include in your morning routine. And in terms of holding yourself accountable, you can really just check in with yourself and you can say, what am I actually going to do today? I'm not going to focus on, is this going to check a box for this specific workout? But if I'm just going after distance, or if I'm just going after time, what do I feel the most interested in? If it is going to the Y and doing a group fitness workout, go for it. I've done that with hot Pilates before, where I'm like, okay, super excited about, going at 5:30 in the morning to the gym. Great, go for it. But if you wake up and that's just not where your heart and mind is, maybe it's the walking pad, maybe it's the YouTube video, maybe it's calling up a friend and then walking and talking to them on the phone while you're getting your steps in, whatever works for you. But again, I would say that exercise is a huge component to a healthy morning routine. And so as I know like And 8 Fitness for a while, they kind of went on a hiatus and they didn't have new content out. And so I started to explore, are there some other YouTube channels that are producing more dance fitness workouts while they're taking a break? And so as these channels come and go, as tools come and go, you have to always be in the mindset of looking and seeing, what's new on the market and what can help me to move my business forward. Okay. So that's kind of what I would do for exercise. Like I said, the walking pad for me has been a huge game changer because it's something I can also use throughout the day. I've seen some people use the walking pad for meetings as well. And I will just say, depending on where your microphone is, that sound of you hitting the treadmill may be very loud and distracting for other people if you're talking on the call. So that's just something to keep in mind. But again, it's a great addition to add to your office that can be super helpful. So now that we've gotten the exercise thing out of the way, I do want to talk about mindfulness. Now, there are some different apps that you can leverage for that. As of right now, the Insight app has actually updated instead of going away. And so the Insight timer is probably one of my favorite because you can hop on there for meditations to be still. You can hop on there just for the sound of brown noise or raindrops or whatever you find to be calming. And that is a great way for you to just start your day with meditation and stillness and using technology for that. If you do decide to use the app, one thing that I would recommend is just, turning on that timer and then putting it face down somewhere. So you're not tempted to also check your emails and check your social media platforms, that you're simply using it as a means to play the actual music itself. So that's something that you can take advantage of by utilizing that app. I can show you guys, type it in here. It is free. And this is what it looks like. Oh, Dr. Lolita says she loves Grow with Joe. Yeah, Grow with Joe is awesome. And she has a ton of content. She actually utilizes the same company that I do for my app. So if you decide to be a part of her paid community, that is how her app is powered. So she's one that I followed on YouTube for a while and then didn't realize we had the connection with Uscreen. Alrighty. So this is what the Insight Timer looks like if you want to look for it in the App Store or the Play Store. And so it's going to ask you, what are you trying to utilize the tool for? And so it's got a ton of things that you can leverage for free. It would be similar to like Headspace or Calm, but I think it is more. It's more for people who are trying to be still in other ways than just meditation. It has a lot of different categories you can choose from. It's got your sleep stories, it's got your midday recharge, all of that. So that could be something that you can factor into your morning routine, but also utilize throughout your day. So Insight Timer is a tool that I'm currently using that's super helpful with that. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. And we will hop back into, let's see here. So that would take care of your movement. That would take care of your stillness. Now, in regards to reading, there is a tool that you may not have heard of. And I do have this, I believe, on my tools page as well. Let me double check. And what I'll do after this live stream is I'll go back and link some of these things that I referred to. But there is a tool called Blinkist. And so Blinkist is a tool that essentially, if you remember back in the day, there was a very popular platform called SparkNotes. And if you didn't have time to do the full reading for class, and you wanted to be able to still contribute if there was a live book discussion in like your English class, history class, what have you, then I remember leveraging SparkNotes, just as a quick summary to help me get on track. So think of Blinkist as SparkNotes for business books. And what a lot of my friends will do is they will incorporate, if they have some type of reading involved with their morning routine, whether you're doing that 75 Soft Challenge or that's just part of how you're choosing to start your day, you can look at the book summaries in Blinkist and it'll take you anywhere from typically 10 to 15 minutes. And if the book summary really does resonate with you, and after reading it, you're like, man, I would love to go more in depth using this tool, then you can purchase the book. So you would use Blinkist as a way to kind of preview the book and hit the high notes. It's also a good resource to use the other way if you want to go back and say, oh, hey, I read Atomic Habits, but what are some of the quotable moments from this then you can go back to Blinkist for that summary, for that information that's going to be outlined by chapter. And now it's a whole lot easier for you to consume than for you to go back to the actual, paperback or hardback book. Another way to utilize this is prompting yourself for social media content. I love to start out social content with things that I'm actively learning and kind of being in that mindset of always learning new things. And so if you wanted to use Blinkist as a way to constantly be filling your mind with new thoughts and learning from new people, maybe you're not having to, sit through and read 200 to 300 page books every single day, but you can do these summaries. You can also set it where you can listen to the summaries and almost treat it like a podcast. And so that could be something that you could habit stack with your exercise. If you were, walking for 30 minutes in the morning, maybe you can throw on that book summary and you can listen to the summary, you can listen to the book, and then you can brainstorm your social content. So this is just one example of a tool that can help you with your reading. Obviously, Audible is a super popular one that a lot of us will utilize. If you have a library card where you live, Hoopla is a tool that a lot of different library systems will subscribe to. And it's essentially a free version of Audible that is paid for through your public library system. And so sometimes what I will do is I will use Audible as a way to track my wish list of books that I want to read. And then I'll either look on Blinkist or I'll look on Hoopla as a way to decide, is that available on a different tool so I don't have to pay per book. And so that's just an option that you can take advantage of as well. So again, Blinkist isn't just a way for you to consume your books even quicker. It's a way that you can easily brainstorm your content, and it's a way to go back and revisit books that you've read to look at the summaries. So I have found this to be a super, super helpful tool. I do have a affiliate link where you can try it out for free. So if you've never tried it, then that's a great way for you to see if it's a good fit for you. But I have found this to be really useful. And so you can see down here, you can read and listen to key insights, feed your curiosity, and you can also hear from different experts within the platform itself. So they have tons of different categories. Entrepreneurship is one that I refer to a lot, marketing and sales, but there's also categories like career success, health and nutrition, personal development, and on and on. So that is something that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you, and that could be something that you factor into your morning routine. Okay, awesome. Looking over here in the comments. Again, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to let me know in the comments. I do have a decent amount of things on my to-do list for today, so we may not go until 11. So go ahead and drop those into the chat if you have them now, so I can make sure that we get those answered. I see we do have one night owl here and a morning girl. So yes, so all of this talk about morning routines. If you are a night owl, going back to the idea of habit stacking and some of the strategies that they talk about in Atomic Habits, you can set things out the night before to help you to function more like a morning person if you're not. So one of the things that I'll do, and I actually have them seated over here, is if I want to make it easier for me to actually, get my steps in and do that morning routine, I will literally put my tennis shoes beside the treadmill or beside my walking pad with my socks in them to just eliminate some of those steps. Some people have put their exercise clothes in their bathroom prepped on the counter. So when they brush their teeth in the morning, they're reminded, okay, I need to make sure I do this. I actually moved my exercise clothes into the bathroom, into a little storage unit. So it's even easier for me to pull what I need to get ready for the gym. So if you start to stack your habits with things that you're already going to do, even if you're not the type of person that when you wake up in the morning is ready to hit the ground running, then you can make your life a lot easier that way. Okay, awesome. And I just want to double check before I keep going. You guys are hearing one singular audio and we got that issue taken care of, correct? Just want to make sure. Okay, fantastic. So, what I want to do really quick before we finish talking about resetting our morning routine is I want to go ahead and share that quick video about our June workshop. So just as a reminder, if you are a STAR student or a Bootstrap creator, then you're already going to be invited to this. If you would like to join us for this workshop, then you would just need to head over to bootstrapbizadvice.com and become a member. So here's a bit more information. Hopefully we don't have any more audio issues about that workshop, and then we'll finish up with this information.
Create your perfect AI assistant in our June workshop presented by Lovable. You'll learn how to build a custom GPT tailored to meet your specific needs. No coding required with Becca Harpain. Becca is a Squarespace expert, educator, and creator at InsideTheSquare.co. And she created the first ever Squarespace support AI. In this workshop, Becca will guide us through conceptualizing, creating, and fine-tuning your GPT to deliver consistent, high-quality responses for your unique use case. This will be perfect for entrepreneurs, creators, or anyone wanting to personalize AI tools. To grab your seat in class for $10 on June 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern, visit bootstrapbizadvice.com to become a STAR student today. If AI has been overwhelming you, make sure you join us for clear instructions that will produce consistent results.
So I hope you guys are as excited about this particular workshop as I am. And the reason why I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you is you can also create tools that will help you with your morning routine. So obviously you could track your morning routine on pen and paper. You can track it, using just something digital like Notion or Trello, but you could also create something from scratch like a custom GPT. So I've even seen people go into Chat GPT and say, this is the amount of weight I'm trying to lose. This is how much time I have to lose it. I'm trying to be in a calorie deficit. Can you create an exercise plan for me? Can you create a meal plan for me? And so that's just another way to utilize technology to help you to have healthier habits. And so I just think it's really cool to see how people are utilizing these chat prompts to just fuel their lives forward, because it's something that we didn't necessarily have access to before. Because what the platform is doing is essentially taking information from all over the internet and helping to provide those answers to you simply as answers to the questions that you feed into it through prompts. So yes, you can utilize ChatGPT, but you can also create custom GPTs. And I would even say, this could be something if you are a trainer, a wellness coach. Can you create an app or a tool that would be of benefit to your community to help them to implement some of the things that you share and teach? So that's just something to consider. Canva has also released the opportunity for you to create apps with no code using Canva code. And there's also a platform called Lovable. And I'll go ahead and screen share Lovable so you can see that as well. Lovable is a tool that you can use to build apps simply by prompting it as well. So again, right here, some examples they have are expense tracker, social media dashboard, task manager, e-commerce store. And so you can just decide like how much technology do you want to leverage in order for you to be consistent and to work toward your goals. Like I said, tools are going to come and go, but when you're in a situation where you are designing what you need, you have a lot more control over that. So I like a combination of pen and paper and tech. You may want to go fully tech and have everything digital and cloud-based, or you may want to go fully analog. You have to decide, what are you actually going to keep up with? Because the best tool is the one that you're actually going to use in your life and business. So I hope that these tools were useful to you. I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit the description of this live stream to include any affiliate links that I have or some quick reference links for you to utilize them. There is another platform that you may want to consider if you are wanting to body double and you don't have access to Groove moving forward, and it's one called Flown. I've heard some positive things about this platform. Cave Day is another one. And so Flown is one that I will go ahead and link in the description. And it's again allowing you to use the power of virtual co-working to stay focused and to beat distraction. So once you've done your morning routine, if you want to leverage tech to keep yourself grounded and help keep yourself focused on what you need to accomplish for the day, here is another resource that you can take advantage of. All right, my friends. So we're going to continue the process of auditing. Today we're talking about auditing our morning routine, and I'm going to move forward and find other pockets of my life and business that I can go through and audit my uses of, and then share that process with you. So if you liked this live stream, make sure that you give it a like if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you are interested in business videos that are going to help you to work less and live more. And feel free to tune in next Monday to join me for another conversation on how to do a summer reset. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, I'll be sure to check those out. And as we like to say on the channel, until next time, ta-ta for now.